Hi, Ian here. This QGIS for Newbies course uses Microsoft Windows as the operating system that it runs on. I think most of the other operating systems, Android and Mac OS and the various versions of Linux Windows systems, I have a suspicion that QGIS running in these is going to look very similar to the Windows version. But I think there's a tendency for people teaching courses like this to make an assumption that people have a basic knowledge of Windows when they start, and I just don't think that that's necessarily the case. I think some people may have had experience at a time when computers were pretty difficult to use. I can remember back in my days first starting out being very excited that Windows 3.0 was coming on, and running on an old 286 computer. Now that might not mean much to many of you, but a big memory, a big hard disk in those days was 20 megabytes, and these computers just ran like at a snail's pace. Anyway, they all run so much quicker, they all run so much better. If you've had these days, and they're all so much easier to use, if you've had a bad experience in the past, maybe somebody's taught you and shown off, or maybe someone's called you silly or something when you didn't understand things. It's a new ball game these days, so just relax. The computers are very difficult to break these days. They used to be easy, but they're pretty difficult, and probably the only way you'll break one is to, aside from installing a virus on it, is to pick it up and throw it across the room. So I want to just run you through what you can expect when you start a computer, what you'll be presented with, and how you tackle all that. Okay? So the first thing is you need to turn your computer on. Now obviously your computer's on now, but maybe somebody else has turned it on for you. That means finding the on-off switch, which will be somewhere on the side of the computer. It might be a flicky switch, it might be a push-button switch, it might have a 0 and a 1 on it. There's so many different things. Perhaps the best way is look for the most obvious switch and flick it, and if the computer starts making noise, you've found the right one. If you've got a computer screen, probably turn the computer screen on first. It would be ideal. So the computer's going to make a bit of noise, a few whirring sounds and so forth, and there's probably going to be some text on appear on the screen, on a black screen. This will take a few minutes to do what we call booting. Now some of the newer ones can boot up in literally seconds. Some of the older computers can take a fair while, can take a couple of minutes or a few minutes to boot up. But eventually when they've booted, you'll be presented with a screen sort of fairly similar to this one we're looking at now. And some computers will have the ability for multiple people to log on. So often this picture here with a pusscat in it might have somebody's face on it, a picture of somebody on it, and that would be their log on. You might find, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 of these, depending on, the work environment that you're in. And most of these will have a password associated with them. This, of course, depends on how your version of Windows is installed. Some versions of Windows won't have this screen, and they will go straight to the desktop. Now I'm just going to exit this, and I'm going to show you my desktop. And when someone comes around to dinner and you do a clean up of your house, well, I have to say, half hour ago my desktop looked nothing like this. When I decided I'd show you what my desktop looked like, I did a very big clean up, and I had icons extending out to here. But anyway, that's my story. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at what we call the desktop. I have various folders because now I'm extremely organized, whereas before I wasn't. Here's my Firefox icon. I use Safari, I use Firefox. There's little icons down here for Internet Explorer. I use a whole bunch of different web browsers. Sometimes you find that different websites don't display well in one, whereas they don't display well in another.